Good morning once again, and welcome to the breakfast show right here on Rappi TV. My name is Martha Alu.
And my name is Victor. Okay, welcome back.
Welcome back. Now, we have been talking about the big conversation from the start of the morning, and today we're interrogating one of the most powerful documents in any democracy, which is the national budget. Nigeria has presented its proposed budget for 2026, and according to the former MD of Budget, he said that the budget should be realistic, not aspirational. But there have been a lot of talks about the 2026 budget as it stands at 58.18 trillion naira, nearly double last year's estimate. At a time where we experience inflation and it remains above, being declining in the last couple of months, we see, and poverty figures continue to rise. Now, embedded within this massive framework are allocations that have sparked national debate. From the 113.7 billion naira for scholarships and school feeding or school fees as well, to 2 billion naira earmarked for a generator and fuel costs. Now, the issue is not the amount alone that is earmarked for the generator and the fuel cost. That a particular organization was mentioned as a beneficiary of that. We also see 500 million naira for small-scale empowerment items like makeup kits and grinding machines to help scale up MSMEs. So today, we're not just asking how big the budget is, why is it big? We're asking what it prioritizes, who it serves, and whether these numbers truly respond to the economic realities Nigerians face. Is it realistic or aspirational? Now, this is a conversation about the policy, the choices, fiscal discipline, and national values. And to break down this conversation with us today, or to help us better understand the figures that are reflected in the projections of the 2026 budget, we have Abdulahi Garba, and he is the project tracking officer for budgets.
Thank you so much for having me here. Good morning.
So good to have you join us again.
You're welcome.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, sir. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Let's get into the business of the day. First off, as a tracking officer and having being able to access different budgets from different times, because as I mentioned from the intro, I tried to do a study from 2020 budget to 2026 budget, and it has doubled.
Yeah.
And for the budget to double like that, there needs to be some sort of justification for that doubling of the budget.
Yes.
Justification as in GDP growth, the revenue that has been generated from the amount of money that has been allocated from the past budget. So as a tracking officer, I would like to pick your brain for a little bit.
You see, thank you so much for having me here today. This is a very lovely topic that we are going to find it very interesting. And I believe our audience and Nigerians are very key interested in this kind of discussions and conversation. First of all, let me just tell us what budget means. Budget in the layman language is a document that belongs to the people, not the government. But in other way, Nigerians don't really take this budget as anything for them. They feel it is a paper being given to money being given to all our leaders to use it for themselves, not knowing that this is actually something that is going to be used for the betterment of our nations and also more other things. Well, if you look at the budget cycle from 2020, just the way you mentioned, down to 2026, you will see that there is a rapid increase in the figure of the budget of every year. In fact, this year is last year was one of the worst budget cycle year for us, which all of us knows that the budget implementation did not happen. The 73 or 75% of the budget processes were taken to the 2026, according to the federal government, because they were not able to implement them in 2025 because of the 2024 that came into the 2025. So if you look at the narrative and the trend of the budget, you will begin to know that there's a lot of issue happening in the leadership aspect and also the citizens aspect. there's you will notice that the rate of poverty has not yet eradicated, but the government keeps saying that this budget is for the people and we're trying to make it to be for the people. Well, budget itself, we need to just, I would just say citizens need to just ask the right questions to know about this.
They need to ask the right questions. Okay, we're here to ask for them, first of all. Yes,
that's why I'm here to answer you all the questions you need to ask.
All right. So the first question we're going to ask about this is, let's start from the poverty, the one allocated for the poverty elevation.
Okay.
And particular about that one because there's been also a significant decrease in the allocation for that. And we're using year 2020 to 2026 as a case study. That for this year is 250 billion naira. Now, for you to be justified in reflecting certain figures in the budget, I think there needs to be some sort of trajectory in the expenditure of the amount from previous budget and what have you. And you have rightly said that, 75 of those were carried over from 2025 now to 2026. The amount allocated there is 250 billion naira. And we have Nigerians living way below the poverty line. In fact, when the tax conversation started, the taxman said, listen, most people are complaining about the taxing system, and most of them will not even be affected by it because over 90-something% of Nigerians have less than 500,000 naira in their accounts, which reflects the poverty state or which reflects the economic state of the citizens of the country. Yet such an amount of money, 1% of the 2026, less than 1% of the 2026 budget is what is allocated to solve that problem of financial instability and poverty, as the case may be.
You see, your questions is why that figure is being allocated to the poverty elevations. Well, let me just start now. In my own analysis, I want to bring some key points on the budget that our office did. One of the infrastructures, we have a 60.7 trillion to 2 trillion that was allocated to it. We have we have defense 6.69. We have education 2.5 trillion. We have health 2.46 trillion. Poverty, power, we have 1.1 trillion. Then we have social development and poverty reduction. You see, this is two factors that they just combine. You just stated it that it was only for poverty. So we have 864.65 billion that is being allocated to this place. Let me just pause in this place and explain this now. You see, the Nigerians, they know that if you are talking of poverty eradications, if they allocate huge amount of funds to these places, and this now Nigerians are now seeing that there is no any poverty that's been eradicated, then there is problem. Citizens will rise up, a lot of things will come up. So they're now using another system, maybe in other agencies and other ministries and other places to take these funds to use for themselves. That is why they pay less attention to that place. If not, you see, in health supposed to carry the highest, followed by the poverty and education. So, health and education, then followed by the poverty. But you see, Nigerians are not focusing on that because the budget is designed for themselves to take for some of this into their own pocket.
Okay, are you talking about the government now?
The government our leadership.
Okay.
Well, I think
whosoever is in the power to control the budget.
Yes, I think the reason most Nigerians are particular about this poverty alleviation and what budget is because we have these amounts of money allocated for that. We also have the 500 million allocated for grinding machines and makeup, which is supposed to be for the alleviation or the scaling of MSMEs. These are just the same things carrying different names.
Right.
Poverty alleviation, you have to upskill people.
Yes.
And if you're upskilling people, the budget should be able to capture that this is for upskilling people. But we have makeup and hairdressing and grinding machine. Then we have poverty alleviation. We have three titles addressing the same issue.
That is why I say it is designed. If you look up my old way, this is designed for them to take something into their own personal pocket. They don't really care much about the people like that. If they care, if you look at the western part of the country, What they do is they go to each household and ask or drop a paper for them to tell them what they really want to do for them. If they want to construct a road in the street now, they will go to each houses around that street, right? Is it okay to construct this road? What is your opinion on this? How can we construct this road? But in the case, it's different in this part of the country. You will see someone now taking funds that is meant for maybe just the way you just stated now, that is meant for poverty eradication, to go and do street lights. If you ask that person now, they will say it's empowerment. And that is not an empowerment.
But there should be a form of accountability. There should be a form where someone checks these individuals.
Yes, of course.
We know about constituency projects, which of course is not the same thing as getting to alleviate the poverty of the people. And
well, one of the major aim of the constituency project is just to eradicate this, because it's zonal intervention project. Zonal intervention project is a project that it is designed to just eradicate most of these poverties, because most of our representatives are coming, they know their constituency, they know what they need. So these funds are meant for them to do most of these things. That is why in the ERGP project budget, you find out that there's a lot of funds being allocated to Senator, House of Rep, and other members to take charge of these kind of things in their communities. So, but they are not doing that. They are also, you see, I like to give an example with a solar street light, because if we have some analysis and some tracking that we do, and most of the projects we see street light. If you go to most of these poverty eradication, you will see some of them are being allocated to street light too, in other side. So most of them are now diverting it to that places, because they see that they are going to chop money from that side. Okay. So forgetting the main aim of the budget, which is a people focus, because majority of this budget now is supposed to be for the people focus budget. Let me cite an example. We have over 400 and something billion for the FCT budget 2026. Imagine we have the 885 community in FCT here. And these 885 communities, this budget is supposed to benefit these communities in FCT. But they are taking the 2026 budget 73%, which is over 335 billion, to develop Metama. Only Metama, FCT. How can you take the 73% of this budget to develop only one side of the town and leave other places? We have Buhari, we have Kwali, Abaji, Gogolada, we have Kuje. You are not developing any part of these places with some of these funds. You are developing FCT in Metama. It means that there is something fishy in that place that these people want to use to take that money back to themselves.
Let's even talk more about the numbers, because you started mentioning the numbers.
Yes.
And I will see that in the budget, security and debt servicing actually has a high part of the budget. Security around 5 trillion naira. Debt servicing around 15 trillion naira.
Yes.
Is the government putting all of these budget allocation, because they have the people in mind? I know you've mentioned something like that in passing, or is this just about government overhead so far?
You see, what that is why one thing I realize about this Nigerian budget is that they are not being sincere, and people are not putting more interest and attention to the budget processes. Let me start from there. If they want to do a budget, first thing the government should do is to tell the government should start from the National Assembly. The National Assembly should go to each of their constituency, get all their needs, come back to them, make it to be into a figure form that this is what they need, get it to the Mr. President, let Mr. President take it back to them again. This should be in a simple time for how budgets should be prepared. But in Nigeria, that is not how it is. Now imagine we have 15 trillions. This debt services is supposed to be for foreign and other exchanges again. Imagine Nigeria is taking our budget to go and pay the debt services, leaving what they're supposed to do on it. It shows that the budget implementation would, maybe during the time of the budget implementation, there will be a problem, because there will not be enough funds again to work with it in some of the agencies and other places. And that is when Nigerians will say, okay, we want to borrow another money. to finances to take charge of this.
Okay. As budget now, because I've heard you say that, okay, there's foul play here.
Yeah, of course.
And these amounts of money have the same titles, different titles rather, the same purpose. And I've heard you countless times reiterate the fact that some of this amount of money is to be taken back into the pockets of these politicians. As a budget officer, your office, what is the responsibility of that? Because I'm here thinking that it's your responsibility to probe that. But you're also sharing the same point of view with me, saying that this is what they want to do. So what is your office doing to address this?
See, before I come to this slide, I just spoke to my boss. And last 2 weeks, we submitted an FOI to the Minister of Finance and the Accountant General's office. What we need is the documents of how most of these funds were being spent for the past years and how it will be spent in the future. We just want the accountant before in the 2020 before 2025, that is 2024 2023, the federal government used to publish most of their spending. And what we do is to take most of our responsibility. What we do just to make everything easy for citizens, we take most of this figure to publish it into our website, which is GovSpend. If you go to www.govspend.ng, you will see that most of these spendings are there. Now, our responsibility, we are telling the citizen, look, check this site. You will see what the government is spending for you. You will see what your constituency, your House of Rep is spending for you. We even want to write today. We want to write to the Accountant General again and the Minister of Finance, requesting that, and also write to the National Assembly that why is it that the Accountant General and the Minister of Finance has responded to our FOI that we wrote. And this is the reason we want to make everything easy for citizens.
Okay. You're a tracking officer.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about the educational budget, which is around 6%, 113 billion naira for education.
Yes.
First of all, how do you track this funding as a tracking officer of budget, and as well how the programs here, these programs, have they achieved measurable results so far? Talking about the school. The education budget that the federal government has for Nigerians. You
see, if you're talking of tracking, we see things in the field. We, as an ICPC, will go to this field together most time to track this project together.
As budget and ICPC.
Yes.
Okay, you collaborate.
Yes, of course, we are working together with them, and also we. Each of the state officer go to the field. We have the budget document. The federal government did not have a PDF file or maybe any document of the budget being uploaded on the analysis of this budget being uploaded on the internet or server anywhere. We requested for it, the hard copy. They give us. We'll make it into a sheet. We'll send it to citizens, and this is how the budget look like. This is what you need to know about the budget. Our responsibility is to go to where budget is now focusing on the community impact project. Just the way we are discussing about poverty eradication, right? And most of our focus now is poverty eradication. So we are going to the field. Most time, if we see, okay, I have a project to track, an FCT here, and my responsibility was to check the budget, if they found. Like in this, I want to cite an example for you. We have construction of road in Marvelous Road of FCT in Kaura Street. My responsibility is to go to Kaura Street. This 174 million was disbursed into a contractor, Joshua Global Venture Limited. My responsibility is to go to Kaura Street and check whether this project is being constructed. If it is not constructed, we will write an FOI or a freedom of information request. Why is it budget to the agency that is in charge of that, not to the contractor?
Okay.
Because it is the agency that sent the contractor.
Yeah.
So we'll write to them that why is this project that has not been constructed, and this is for the people. We'll write to the city. We'll ask one or two citizens, what is the impact of this road to you people? Is it this road that you need? So I'm trying to bring out all of our attention to know that this is what budgets do for the citizens.
Okay.
We'll just make everything easy, and we'll checkmate the service delivery of every agencies and contractors in the field.
All right. Let's now go back to the education question that I asked,
Okay.
because out of the 113 billion naira that's been earmarked, some part of the money is
I was going to come this.
As well. So let's just
I was going to come down that side. Well, I will start an example with FCT.
Okay.
Out of the communities I mentioned, of course, we have 62 wards in FCT, and these wards we have primary schools, we have secondary schools, and also we have like two tertiary institutions in Nigeria. We have a School of Nursing, we have the Federal College of Education, we have the University of Abuja. This is part of education, right? Those are institutions, their funds are not coming to, most likely coming in times of ERGP, or more, this percent is coming for TIT funds. Most of them are being budgeted from that side. Now, in the education system, if you go to these communities and see, some of the communities, they are still receiving classes under the sun or under the tree in the FCT. You may not be aware. To show you how bad the education system is. Most times, if we escalate this now, people think that we are against the government. We are trying to call the attention of the government to come and do this for the people.
Okay.
So it shows that the percentage being allocated to education is very poor, and it's not actually translating to any development in the education system. So the citizens should be aware. That is why most times, that is why you also see a classroom being dilapidated. In fact, when I was coming, if you check most of these primary schools, go to them, see how the schools are being dilapidated. The principal will tell you that they have written to BEP, they have written to Education Board, they did not answer them. So they don't know the reason, because they don't have any idea of how many percent will be allocated to the budget.
Okay. Let me ask the next question. Now, a reported 2 billion naira allocation, for generator and fuel costs, and particularly directed to a company, Astro Oil, immediately raises concerns or invites scrutiny. Because first off, Nigeria is facing fiscal constraints, as you know. Secondly, power sector reform is a stated government responsibility. And lastly, fuel subsidies were officially removed, to reduce recurrent spendings like this.
Yes.
Now, why is the budget absorbing such operational energy costs for a private entity at this scale? The fact that a private entity is mentioned. Okay, let's take a look at office budgets generally. When presenting an office budget, you don't present the name of an organization.
Yes, of course.
You don't do that because it reflects personal interest for that organization.
Yes.
But at a national level, a particular organization was mentioned as a beneficiary or a benefactor of, or a beneficiary rather, of that amount of money that's allocated. Please,
you see,
help us understand it.
That is why I say Nigerians are not paying more
attention
and key interest to the national budgets. This kind of thing can only happen in this part of the country. It can happen maybe in the western part of the country, because the budgeting process is not it's not a man business, or it's not for someone to benefit for his house. Most time they do this to just compensate, to settle this kind of people. Like our political leaders do this to just settle some of one of these. It's not just noise. People will not make, they'll just noise and get tired, and that is how they'll continue doing it. They have no any justification about this to continue doing these kind of things. Because but if you are talking about budget is the public document, not private entity or anything. Okay. It is for public, and it's supposed to be for the citizens.
Of the public.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how does the public get involved in this budgeting of our nation? How do we get involved? But you said Nigerians don't pay attention. Budget is for the public. So how do we get involved in ensuring that we have a proper budget shown to the people?
If you cannot reach out to us, you write to them.
To who?
To your leader, to any person, like just the way I started, and then we write an FOI to the Accountant General Office. As an individual, a citizen of the country, if you see anything that you did not understand, you can write to them. If they did not answer, you can call on organizations like us to come and this is what you have done and this is what you want to do.
So hold on, let's
but the
get it clear.
organization is supposed to probe the entire budget in itself. In fact, I was expecting we wake up to your questions.
We have
wake up to your probe.
That is why I say we have done that. If you go to our social media and you see a lot of conversation about that. In fact, this you mentioned now, we have already analyzed it. Okay. So we are telling the citizen this is what we have done. And this is what you need to do. Budget alone cannot do it. Even the ICPC or EFCs cannot do it alone. As an individual, you have a responsibility to do this. If you see that they did not answer you, you call on us or you call on these people who are more interested in fighting this.
But they are also not responding to you. You said you sent
that is why, yes.
So they are also not responding to you. So what is the guarantee that, because it's looking like a case of I don't owe you, I don't owe you accountability.
That is why
they're not responding to you. An organization that is charged with the responsibility of tracking and questioning the contents of the budget. So what is the possibility of response
let me not say
Nigerian man?
They will respond to us because we will not leave them.
Okay, they will.
Yes.
Okay,
but I just told you that
in the past.
Yes. They have responded to us.
Some cases where responses have come.
Now,
now
you look at this red letter that the Prime Minister of Health wrote that time about the funds being disbursed for revitalized PSC in the country for the 774 local government. What we did was that BudgIT right to the Minister of Budget that, look, we need the Q1, Q2 publication of this and how the funds were being disbursed to most of these places. They responded to us. Within 24 hours or 48 hours, they responded to us.
Okay.
So what it showed that when you ask questions, they will respond. Because we cannot, when we see that it take 1 week on some few times and they didn't respond, that is when we hit them back again that these people you have not responded. We don't know the reason why you have not responded.
Now you've mentioned severally here today that the budget of our nation, Nigeria, that our leaders put this budget most times to compensate those that have been working with them, or even to siphon some of this money to their personal account.
Yes.
Right. How, again, I've asked this question prior, but we didn't get an answer to it properly.
Okay.
Now, if you cite this, which is to say that you are certain to an extent that these are the things that happens, how many persons, how many of these leaders have been held accountable?
If you go to ICPC, if you go to EFCC, most of these fishy things we discover, we write to them direct, and they take actions. They invite them, and they take the necessary process for themselves, because budget cannot prosecute people when we cite this.
Definitely.
So that is what we do, and that is what we'll continue doing. In fact, there's a lot of fishy work in the budget cycle. And this is how we are going to continue fighting about that.
A name or two, have we had any of these leaders being held accountable?
Like the Minister of Works before, when they say they construct one road, I think it's also, no, we'll find out that over 8-point-something billion was being misappropriated and being fishy about it. When we write to the EFCC, they invited him. And the minister came and said, and just divert, he came to the public with this and just divert one of these talks that say, this is the body that our office, we are being sponsored by some people to come and attack him or to come and do this. No, budget is for the people, and we're doing the transparency work. So that is one of the examples I'm giving you.
So do you guys actually see to the end of this probe? Because again, the matter is not necessarily about writing to them. It's not about probing them, or calling. Do you see through with it? Because hold on. Do you see through with it? Because we can keep saying, oh, we wrote to them, but like Serap, we have given instances time and again. In fact, in the news today, Serap is holding the federal government and Wike accountable because they've not been able to account for the security vote according to them. We see these countless probes online, but do you think that your organization has very efficient solutions to ensuring that when these budgets are being tracked and the monies allocated are not being effectively used, there is something that can be done much more than publishing and writing letters to them?
We'll get feedback from ICPC.
Okay.
There was a project that have over 200 and something million is in Akwa Ibom and the South. All we did, we write to the first thing we do is to get the payment details of these funds being disbursed. We cannot hold people who for what we don't have the complete information for. So what we do is to get the payment detail, the contract of the funds being disbursed to, the date of payment, and the agency and the ministry in charge of all those projects. So if we visit this site as a tracking officer and we discover they have not done this project, we will now bring picture evidence of these places. We compile it, send it to them. So we'll give some time frame to them, and that is why we are partnering with them. In fact, if we just, this is our office, we are just the same office with them. It's just because we are just like say so, but we are just the same office to them. Even the secretary of the ICPC said it. So what we do is, when we send them this information, we'll just give a time frame, then we'll nudge them back. We need feedback. The citizen need to know what actions has been taken. If you have recovered these funds, then
let us know.
Yeah, let us know. If you are prosecuting this person, let us know. So most time, if you go to them now, a lot of in fact, the contractors are being invited. The consultant that certified those projects for payment are being invited and held. The agency that disbursed that money to them, that are being invited. And most time we recover this money from the contractor through the agency to the send to the federal government.
All right, we're in the half of the hour, so we might need to go out on a very short break there. But from everything that you have said, pointers are at ICPC and the organizations that you partner with. Because if you have sent them the letters and they have not gone through with the probe and they have not come to any conclusion or given Nigerians any reasonable answer for the questions that have been asked, then the problem might just be with those that you partner with. But let's go out on a very short break. When we get back, we'll keep up with this conversation. Please stay with us. All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. It's still Rapid Done right here on Rapid TV, and we have been having conversations about the budget, the 2026 budget, that is being proposed by the federal government. And we are accessing some of the different parts of this budget and its allocations and how it affects the Nigerian people as well. And we have had the pleasure of having Abdulahi Garba, who is a tracking officer for budget, join us in the studio this morning. Thank you so much again for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's take a look at the budget for agriculture. Now, time and again, we have heard that agriculture is the backbone of the economy, and it's important that allocations are being, adequate allocations are being given to parts of the country like this, like the agricultural sector, because it is the food that we eat. The food cannot get to our tables if proper attention is not being given to that sector. Now, I said our case study for today's conversation is between 2020 to 2026, and if you see the allocations from there, it is still between 1% to 1.6%.
Yes.
And in 2025, 2026 again, we still see that the allocation for agric is still less than 2%. Regardless of the inflation, the inflation rate that is still hovering, particularly in the agricultural sector. In fact, in December, we had cases of the farmers come out to make complaints, talking about how they spend a lot of money, which is the cost of production. The market, the food is relatively cheap in the market, but the cost of production still remains for the farmers, which means that if more amount of money is allocated to the agricultural sector, it can get across board, to make life easier for farmers and both consumers as well. But we have seen that agriculture still receives like a very little amount or little portion of the budget. And we say that the budget reflects the priorities of the country.
You see, let me ask you this question. Who are they giving this money to in the farmers, in the agricultural system?
Well,
you tell us.
Exactly. You are the one who tracks the budget, so you should have solid information.
You see, most people don't understand. I keep on saying it that these people are just they just design these budgets to just suit themselves. Last year, Mr. President come to the seat center in FCT at Kwalera Council to commission mechanized tractors that they're going to use in the country in the North Central. Over 200 plus. If you go there, you see them there. Up to now, they are still there. Now,
catalytic seed fund as well.
Now, what we have in the budget of agriculture is 1.47 trillion, and this is just 1% of the entire budget, right? And this budget now supposedly to be used for farmers, and the farmers are those people who are producing our foods that we are taking, right? This Nigerian government are not actually supporting these farmers to implement most of their farming system. I came from a very rural community. I know how farming system is. My parents are farmers. My peoples in the communities are farmers. Now, what they do, just the way you rightly mentioned, you go to the farm, you farm, maybe you farm your yam or cassava or anything you're going to produce. But there are specific procedure or chemical that you are supposed to purchase to make that crops grow in a healthy way. But if they go to the farm, you see them complaining. Why is this so high in the market? There may be a pesticide that was supposed to be 1,000 is now moved to 5,000, 6,000. So you see the difference. Maybe last year it was 2,000. Now it's 7,000. Now it has tripled in the market. But these farmers have no choice. They'll just struggle and still purchase that because they want their crop to grow in a healthy. After production now, they will take it to the market and sell it cheap. And then they will realize that they did not recover most of the money that they lost. So the federal government now, their own responsibility is to support this kind of farmer to see that they boost their farming systems. And if a farmer boosts their farming system, they will eradicate poverty. That's the first thing. There will not be any need of maybe budgeting of 800 and something billion for poverty eradication and something social development again. Maybe it will only be for social development. This majority of all those things lies on agriculture, especially this poverty stuff we're talking about again. So you see, the federal government are not doing actually anything in that aspect to support these people.
Okay.
All right. From your tracking, let's talk about some of the ministries and agencies. From your tracking, which of these ministries and agencies are consistently underperforming when it comes to the implementation, of the budget allocation that's been given to them?
Just as usual, have a very tricky question. If you look at this thing now, all of them are the same thing. They are just like a brother and sister.
So none has been performing?
You cannot just say this one has been performing very well or this one is not performing well because they are all working in the same thing. Imagine Prime Minister of Agriculture is maybe Prime Minister of Water Resources is having agricultural budgets to take up, or maybe Federal Minister of Agriculture is providing street lights, maybe construction of road. Maybe we come across that is go to yes. Look at, there was a road construction that I track that this road construction is not under the mandate of that agency.
Okay.
So Minister of Agriculture and environmentals are constructing road, leaving Federal Minister of Works and Transportation to do all these things that they're supposed to construct. So it shows that most of this, if you go now, they will not perform because it's not their mandate.
So you're saying misplaced priorities amongst agencies?
Okay.
Or a lot in Nigeria. We find that a lot in Nigerian agencies.
Okay, let's talk a bit about global standards now. Now, low and middle income countries globally spend about 5 to 20% of their GDP on social protection.
Yes,
and Nigeria still ranges between 1 to 1.5%, which suggests a huge gap. So what benchmarks should Nigeria be targeting?
You see, Nigerians should what the first thing to do is to raise a voice and tell these people this is. You see, Nigerians wanted to do that in one time like that when they are talking about the NSAS.
Okay.
You see, when they raise their voice, the federal government listens at time. But if you are talking of this aspect now, and Nigeria did not raise their voice well, the governments will not listen, and they will keep on doing what they do, the business as usual. They call it the budget of consolidation and the resilience. What is consolidating about this budget and the resilience? about the budget.
So what role does the National Assembly play? Because the National Assembly, this budget will of course be taken to the National Assembly to be discussed for scrutiny. What role do they play in vetting these, not just the size of the budget, but the different allocations that are being given on the budget? Because it's looking like
the problem starts from that side now.
Okay, tell us.
The problem starts from the National Assembly. You are taking the meat to where people are hungry to go and take. So what do you expect them to do?
So members of the National Assembly are hungry?
If it is not hungry, why would they collect Nigerians' money and be put in their pocket?
Okay. What other systems can be put in place to track and to vet? Because I know that for your organization, you can only write.
No, we write, we track, we investigate.
You can write, track, investigate, but even if you investigate and you find the culprit,
we take it to the ICPC.
If the ICPC does not arrest,
that is where we are here. That is where media is here. That is where we have to voice out that if we see that the ICPC did not arrest, we will still write to the ICPC. If we see ICPC did not, we'll come to the public and tell the Nigerian this is what we discover and this is what the federal government is trying to hide.
Well, I believe that a lot of responsibilities are being left to the public these days because, I mean, we see matters being judged online first before anybody takes any proper initiative to addressing the issue. And that's why most times when we hear about, BudgIT is doing this, Sarah is doing this, we pay little to no attention because we don't see the fruit of those letters that you write.
Exactly.
Or the questions that you ask. So if I'm asking questions and I'm not getting answer, BudgIT is asking questions and BudgIT is not getting answers. You're getting answers, but these answers do not translate to real-time solutions. Because you see, when this budget,
let me give you an example.
Hold on. This budget, many other budgets have been passed, you know, and we hear all of this noise. Oh, this money is too much. This is reputation of this budget. It will still be passed. In fact, publications for the expenditure of this budget will not even be published anywhere, and nothing happens about it. We'll still come back to
the reason why we track
budget.
Okay. Tell us.
No, I'm just asking you.
To follow up, to ensure execution,
it's not just that.
Okay.
The reason why we track this project is to see the impact of that project to the citizen.
Okay.
The first thing we'll go to, we pay less attention to most of this office budget because we see that it does not really have an impact to the people.
Okay.
What causes most hardship to the people is what we put more attention to. Like I just had an example when they said they are constructing road. So a citizen was complaining bitterly. They paid 24 million naira to construct this road, and these people did not construct this road. This is the reactions we take up from them. Now, what we do is not that they don't take an action. There was a road construction in this. I'm just giving you an example because I'm the FCT project tracking officer. From this Apo Waru Wasa side down over 10 kilometers of road. The contractor thought maybe we are not going to track this project and get to the end of it. And they have certified and paid half of the money to this contractor. What we did was that we follow up to this till the end of the road. Now, the contractor did just draw just like 2 kilometers and leave the rest. So we have to follow up down to the road. So we discovered that, and we counted the culvert that was supposed to construct it. We counted, we noted the gutter that was supposed to be constructed. And most of this were facts we got on the field. They invited the contractor. And when they invited the contractor, what they do is that it's either he refunds the money or he go back to the site and complete his project. Within that same month, the contractor have to mobilize his people to the site and construct the road. So I'm telling you that we at BudgIT, we have a lot of success story and footprints that involve of what we do.
All right. Based on data, right, should Nigerians be worried or hopeful about the 2026 budget?
We should be very, very worried.
He says, should we be worried or
yes. No, we should be worried because you can't just waste 2025 and think that 2026 will be better. So Mr. President said that from now till March, disbursements will start for the 2026. We are still hopeful that the budget disbursement process will start.
Okay.
And we just keep on hopeful that if this disbursement starts, we are still going to get the data and publish it at cost spent. You can check at any time. You will see the payment, even your community where you come from, you start from that place. Any project that the payment has been made and they have not done it, you will see the details there.
On your website?
Yes, www.govspend.ng.
Govspend?
Yes,
yes. Okay.
.ng. This is the site we publish most of this the data. Or you go to your tracker.ng, you'll see most of these informations there. So this is what the citizen needs to know. And that is why most of our responsibility as a budget and a tracker, we go to community, hold a town hall meeting, and sensitize these people about the budget.
Okay.
All right.
That's, I think
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And these questions, of course, need to be answered at every point in time. But thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We most likely will have you from time to time to ask questions again to know how far you have come with tracking the budget and ensuring that we'll be doing our 2025 report launch in FCT. I'm sure your media organization will come. Okay.
So
everything, 2025, nothing really happened. So it is a report of 2024 we are going to launch. 2020, 2024 we are going to launch. Most of these things we are going to share with you people.
All right.
To see the success, to see the journey so far, to see, and this is real life, not something that is only on paper.
Okay.
If you go to this community, we say we have done the government, we have held the government account and they've done this. You will see it in FCT.
That's majorly about the project, which of course is also important. This project and what have you. But we're looking at these things on a larger scale. These amounts of money, like, is it possible? In fact, I don't think it's ever happened where we see that a budget that is proposed is being called back.
No.
To say, the people are complaining this budget. Let's adjust the budget because citizens. How many times have that actually happened? Because
me and you and other citizens are not trooping to the National Assembly to hold them accountable.
So we must be there first of all. We'll
almost really, no. You have to elect the good leader who will do that for you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much again for joining us on the show. All right. Victor, let's hear what your concluding thoughts are about this.
Well, the last question I asked him, should we be worried or should we be hopeful? And he said we should be very, very worried. And that is something that actually concerns and brings fear to my heart as a person, because when we talk about budgeting, we should be able to have projects that actually helps to fine-tune the living of our people here in this part of the world. But we rarely see these things happen, and it's another problem for us. Infrastructure is around 5.6 trillion naira as it is. Another question that comes to mind, are we going to be seeing new projects, or we're going to be seeing a continuation, a completion of former projects just to show that we're busy? And these are concerns basically, but we do hope that we can actually see a lot of improvement when it comes to the living of the Nigerian people. All right, it's important because when you look at the budget, one of the major things that a lot of Nigerians have talked about is the fact that these budgets reflect misplaced priorities, as a matter of fact, because if the ones that have, how can the largest allocation for a nation be debt servicing? That debt service, that's 15 trillion naira. That has one of the largest allocations in the budget. Imagine security is getting 5 trillion. 5 trillion naira. And we're still fighting the case of insecurity. Exactly. And they will still come again and borrow again to cover that space. Cover that. So I mean, these questions need. Maybe they will come and borrow 20 trillion again. Exactly. Wow. So these questions need to be asked. And a budget should reflect who we are and where we want to go. So when the numbers balloon, but the poor get marginally more, it's worth asking the questions. Right. Who truly benefits from our national priorities? And why do we continue to work in this vicious cycle? This is a call for every Nigerian to take budgeting quite seriously, which means you should study the budget material and ask questions where and when necessary. So this will bring us to the end of the 9 o'clock conversation for this morning. I had an amazing time having these conversations. My name is Martha Alu. And my name is Victor. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow.